Welcome to WikiAfrica Hour, where Africa's Wikimedians talk to, learn from, and discuss with each other topics they choose. Each session is curated by African Wikimedians to expand Africa's open movement. Today's host is Carolyn Seaman.
Hello everyone, you are welcome to another episode of the Wiki Africa Hour, which is the monthly broadcast to support the activities of the Wiki Africa movement and Wikimedians, of course, across Africa. My name is Carolyn Seaman, and here are some news updates for the month of November.
Hello everyone, you are welcome to the November 2023 Wiki Africa Hour News Update. And with me today to share the news is Noni Nklakla. Hello Noni.
Hi Ceslaus. The Wiki Science Competition 2023, an international photo contest for the sciences, launched on 1st November. Entries are welcome until the 15th December 2023. Please make sure to participate. The Wiki Loves Women 2023 She Said campaign has kicked off as of 1st October and will run on Wikiquote until the 31st of December. Make sure you participate in documenting quotable quotes from women across the world.
Thank you, Nani, for those interesting updates regarding campaigns. Next, we move to news item from the volunteer committee. The applications to join the Ombuds Commission and the Case Review Committee, which will not be posted on Meta, will close on December 31st, 2023 in any time zone. The Ombuds Commission, or shortly known as OC, works on all Wikimedia projects to investigate complaints about infringements of the privacy policy, the access to non-public personal data policy, and the use of checked user and oversight, also known as suppression tools, on any Wikimedia project. The case review, on the other hand, or the case review committee, known as CRC, reviews appeals of eligible Wikimedia Foundation office actions. The CRC, as they're called in short, is a critical layer of oversight to ensure that office actions are fair and unbiased. They also make sure the Wikimedia Foundation doesn't overstep established practices or boundaries. And we would love to congratulate Wikimedia Ju Burkina Faso User Group, Wikimedia Community User Group Zambia, Wikimedians of Japan User Group, and Wikimedistas de Ecuador, as they have been officially recognized by the Wikimedia Foundation's Affiliations Committee as
accepted for the role. Kathy Collins will be joining officially at our next board meeting on December 6, 2023. Find out more about Kathy Collins by clicking on the link on our Meta page under the Wiki Africa Hour news page.
And lastly, we would want to let you know, or we are pleased indeed to let you know that the call for scholarships application for the 2024 Wikimania is open. Wikimania conference is the global Wikimedia movement conference, and this year's or the next year's 2024 Wikimania is themed collaboration of the open, which is going to be held in Poland. Scholarship applications are welcome until December 18th, 2023. Please endeavor to apply. And you can view all the news updates in the newsroom section on the Wiki Africa Hour meta page. And of course, the action links will be in the description. Thank you for your help, Nani, on disseminating the news updates for this month.
Thank you, Sislaus.
Nice. And just to add that the 2024 Wiki Indaba conference will be held in Johannesburg, South Africa, from 4th to the 6th of October 2024. That was the only item I felt was necessary to be added to the news update. And with that, I officially welcome you to the episode 33 of the Wiki Africa Hour, which is titled Echoes from Wiki Indaba. The 2023 Wiki Indaba conference, the gathering of African Wikimedians, just got carried out in Agadir, Morocco, earlier this month. It was indeed a conference filled with hopes, dreams, ranging from the announcement that it would be organized by Wikimedia Morocco to scholarship applications and second submissions, and of course leading up to the travel to Morocco by the various participants and scholars. For every Wikimedia conference, there are always lots of moving parts, and both the organizer and the participants, of course, can easily look back to learn what worked and what didn't work well, and could of course help provide insights on where the next set of organizers could make amends and improve the conference experience in the future. To help us to understand how the 2023 Wiki Indaba conference went, we have invited two special guests here today who were on ground in Agadir, Morocco, to share their conference experiences with us. First, we have Carolyn Seaman. Carolyn is a member of Wikimedia Nigeria. She is a girl expert and a tech evangelist passionate about the empowerment of adolescent girls and young women and building their capacity to champion advocacy for the protection of girls and women's rights in the society. She has a background in law, gender, and security. She loves storytelling through pictures and videos, and this fuels her passion in social impact filmmaking, and she seeks to contribute to influencing the inclusion of women's profiles, biographies, and articles across Wikipedia. And next we have Alvin Ategyeka. Alvin is a database admin and of course a Wikimedian based in Uganda. Since joining the Wikimedia community in 2019, he has actively participated in projects and campaigns like WikiGap, Wikisource, Wikiloves Monument, Wikiloves Earth, and Wikiloves Africa. Alvin transitioned into a role as a trainer, focusing on guiding new volunteers, particularly at Gulu University and Mabara University in Uganda during the WikiGap Challenge. For the past 3 years, Alvin has served as the events coordinator for the Wikimedia photography campaigns in Uganda. Please welcome these guests as we engage them. Hello, Caroline. Hello, Alvin.
Thank you for having us.
The pleasure is ours. And first, I think we would start with you, Caroline. We met a lot of new faces at the Wiki Indaba 2023 conference. Was that your first Indaba experience? And if yes, what community did you represent, and how did you make it to the conference?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tesla. Thank you. Good day, everyone. Really glad to be here to share my experience at the Wiki Indaba 2023. Indeed, it was my first ever. Interestingly, not just my first Wiki Indaba experience, but my first Wiki International Conference ever. At least being able to attend physically. So it was really such a memorable experience for me. I'm based in Abuja, so I coordinate the Wikimedia network in Abuja, and I was representing the Wikimedia user group Nigeria at the Wiki Indaba. It was truly, truly an honor to be sponsored to attend the Wiki Indaba on behalf of the Wiki Nigeria community. Truly, truly a huge honor that I don't take for granted. So I was really excited to be there. Indeed, Nigeria had such a rich representation at the Wiki Indaba, but it was just such an honorable and memorable time for me, being my first ever physical international conference. That will definitely stay with me for years to come. Yeah.
Interesting. I am actually, very, very happy to see that more user groups or, community are getting to independently finance scholars to meet conference. And how about you, Alvin? What community did you represent, and how did you make it there?
Okay, thank you very much. As Silas has introduced me, I'm Alvin Ategyeka. I represented the Wikimedia community user group in Uganda. It was my first Wiki Indaba in person, but I had attended the Wiki Indaba online, the virtual one that we held in Kampala, Uganda in 2021 during the COVID period. So it was a pleasure being in Morocco for the first time. It was a very, very nice experience. Actually, for me, it was even my first flight, going through Dubai, sleeping there, touring around the night, sleeping there, then connecting to Casablanca, then connecting to Agadir was a very, very worthwhile experience. I was so happy. I'm really indebted to the community. It was my first time, and I hope to attend others. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alvin. I mean, there is a bright side to this, because why some people were complaining about how many flights they had to connect and how many cities they had to go through before getting to Agadir, there is you enjoying the whole sightseeing, if I would say. So that's actually nice. At least somebody enjoyed that. Somebody enjoyed that. Great to know. Great to know. And then first time in-person attendance can be very delicate, especially when it comes to being supported efficiently by the organizing team. It's almost like you don't know how to rope in successfully. First time in-person attendees to have a great conference experience. But from the point you knew you were attending Caroline until when you arrived at the conference venue, did you feel adequately supported by the organizing team, and what support elements were most helpful to you?
It's I think at this point it's difficult answering this question objectively because I can't help looking at the other side. Because I have my own share of experience organizing conferences like this. So I understand how overwhelmingly challenging this could be. So to be fair to the organizers, I'll try not to be too harsh. But it was really quite great. I think I particularly enjoyed the fact that there was consistent emails walking you through, first and foremost, introducing you to the organizing team, letting you know they are there to support you through the visa process, through all the preparations before coming. It was great that we also had the Telegram app as well, the community to be able to keep in touch. I particularly enjoyed that because names started to at least pop out to me within the Telegram group before even meeting faces eventually. So it was great to start getting a sense of where people were coming from. It was a bit bittersweet though, because then you also heard of people who couldn't get their visas, and you already were mindful of the people you won't get the opportunity to see at the conference in the end. So it was a lot of those challenges with who will get their visa, who will eventually get there, how our travels went, and all of that. It was great to be able to have that community to share our experiences all throughout the process. And at the point that we got there, for me, maybe because of the timing we got there at night. I couldn't really tell who was even the focal person, you know, receiving us, or who could you reach for particular support within those areas. And it was really at that point about even getting our luggages and which bus we're getting to and to the hotel and all of that. So to be fair to the organizers, I would say they did their best. Maybe the learnings would be to say how much more supportive can the rest of the community be to the organizing team at such moments, because I felt like I got a sense of a bit of that, like probably some of us could have done more to support the organizing team, even if it's remotely before we got there and while we were there. Yeah, I think those would be it for me in terms of learnings.
Nice. How about you, Alvin? I mean, did you feel fully supported the first time person happened? And what elements of support did you enjoy?
Personally, I would say the organizers did a very tremendous job. They did a very good job. First of all, I've also organized meetings like in Uganda, even or not wiki related, but the issue of communication is always lagging, especially if you have a team that is not so committed. I would like to commend the Wikimedia user group of Morocco, especially on the communication bit. You would send an email and they reply you in time, like as if they've been waiting for you, as if they've been waiting for you to send a message. They were so patient, especially I believe like for us who it was the first time for us to travel. You know, the travel arrangements are always that, it's not that simple, looking for a visa, looking for a passport and all that, but they were always patient and guiding us through everything. Then also this Wikimedia Morocco did a very tremendous job in a way that at the conference venue, they kept on engaging us, asking us what's wrong, can we support you in any way? They were so supportive from the beginning to the end, and I would like to commend them. Yeah, especially Anas and Reda, they are incredible people, and I believe in future Wiki Indabas, those are some people I believe that can be put on a team because they are so hardworking, and I saw the amount of work they were able to pull out and keeping tabs on everyone at every stage. Kudos to them.
Thank you very much. And yes, the communications were spot on. In fact, at the time, I had to check the replies to make sure that maybe it was not a bot that was, you know, taking care of the conversations. If you write them now, within the next, you know, 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you have a reply. So that's really spot on. And I had the privilege of, you know, to interview some persons who were also on ground in Agadir, you know, about the kind of support they enjoyed from the organizing team. Let's hear what they had to say. Annie?
So, I love the fact that we've been pre-informed as to transportation, which is very key, right from the hotel and even back to the airport. I also love the fact that we are informed through the Telegram pages with the programs that are coming up. And yeah, I think yeah, everything is well organized.
Right.
J'ai été un peu surprise quand j'ai reçu le mail que j'ai obtenu une bourse pour aller à Wiki Indaba et j'étais vraiment heureuse de savoir que j'ai été sélectionnée. Et depuis ce temps, j'ai vraiment eu le soutien de tous les organisateurs. Ils m'ont informé de toutes de toutes les choses dont je dois savoir pour me préparer pour la conférence. Ils ont préparé également le dîner d'avion et tout cela. Et même à la dernière minute, j'ai eu des problèmes sur le pied. Ils ont été là pour me soutenir et pour m'aider sur comment résoudre les problèmes, quoi. Et même ici, ils m'ont tous soutenu sur comment suivre les conférences et tout.
Yes, I was maybe as shocked as some people are now that we had people from Madagascar at the conference. There was also somebody from Comoros. I think there was also someone from Gambia. So, you know, it was fun getting to hear from these people about how, you know, they were supported by the organizing committee. And coming back to you, Caroline, being your first ever in-person Wiki Indaba, it's possible you know, before arriving at the conference had expectations, maybe people to meet like you had earlier mentioned, or maybe some other things. But what were those expectations that you had, and did they match the reality on ground when you got to the conference?
I think top on the list for me in terms of expectations was first and foremost to get like a more holistic and rich understanding of how the Wikimedia community is working, and how that, you know, comes through within Africa. That was top on the list for me. I mean, I've always heard Wiki in Africa and all of that, but I was really looking forward to getting a clearer picture of the whole community and how it works. And this is because I joined, were part of the Wiki, the people that joined Wiki when COVID happened. so I feel like a bit of my understanding of how the Wikimedia community works was largely impacted by how everything went virtual. You couldn't have like in-person meetings and that experience of how the community works. So that was top on the list for me in terms of how to really connect with people across the continent. And like you said, it was like a light bulb moment for me, seeing people from Madagascar, Comoros, you know, seeing people from Ivory Coast, like countries I've really just not had like close connections with, was really, really memorable. And more importantly, being able to hear how the community is working in their countries and how we can learn from those shared experiences. Another thing in terms of expectation for me, which is really connected to my core now because I work in the space girls, to be specific, I really wanted to get a clearer understanding of how those projects work within the Wikimedia community. So a lot of the sessions that had gender components were like never to miss sessions for me. And I was so glad that I was not only able to learn from those sessions, but with those who were facilitating such programs in their countries. I'm really clearer in terms of the kind of projects that I would want to implement back home here in Nigeria now, especially gender projects, and that I'm so excited about, and I would say was my biggest takeaway from the conference. A selfish one, but rightly so. Yeah.
That actually makes sense. I mean, owing to the fact that you were amongst the lockdown Wikimedians, like I fondly call them, and you know, it was a revelation being at that conference and understanding how things work. Like you just mentioned, the scope of the gender gap activity in the movement in Africa and all that. And then talking about sessions, Alvin, we had a list of many interesting sessions that we witnessed at the conference, ranging from GLAM to partnership to leadership, just to mention but a few. Alvin, I was wondering what sessions stood out for you and why?
Thank you very much. Actually, as she has said, me too, like my expectations were met. Some of the sessions that stood out for me was like a session about how to become English Wikipedia admin. These are questions that community members have been asking. There are many, I believe there are many people who aspire to be administrators of the English Wikipedia, but they didn't know what is required, which steps you have to pass in, which competencies you should have. And I believe that that session was powerful, and it was one of the greatest sessions. I enjoyed it. Then the second one that stood out for me was, of course, the sessions about WikiLove's monuments, simply because I usually participate in WikiLove's monuments in the organization, and I had to be there to understand other people's perspectives and understand how other people do it. Then another session that stood out for me was about lexicography, the Wikidata part about lexicography. It was a new one for me. I had never gone to that side, and now I got to know how to create lexemes, for example. Like in Uganda, mostly we concentrate on the English Wikipedia, and our languages community is not yet so big. So I believe that was an addition, and then our languages like Luganda, Wikipedia, we shall be able to implement some of those things. Then another one that stood out for me so big was the session about growth editing tools for newcomers that was presented by Mheni from Tunisia, the Wikimedia from Tunisia. We usually make trainings, especially to new communities like university students, refugee communities, or when we do our outreach events. And it's always hard to keep tabs on the people you're mentoring, but it's good that Wikipedia came up with these tools, these growth editing tools, which will be a very big addition. And next time we are organizing events, we shall be able to deploy some of these things. We shall tell these newcomers to at least get these tools, and then we keep tabs on them. We keep mentoring them. Me personally, I've already joined up as a mentor, and some people have asked questions. So I believe it will be a good journey. But also two others that stood out for me was the session about key weeks for schools. I believe it's a great initiative, and I believe I'm going to keep in tab with these people and ask them how it's implemented. Maybe if it can cross over also to Uganda, it's a good initiative. But also during the Joris, there is a person called Joris, I think from Ghana, presented about documentation, but also he talked about the Wikimedia technical community. As someone in IT, I'm so much interested in that, and I was happy to know that these communities are there, and these are communities that anyone can join. So those sessions stood out for me. Thank you.
Wow, Alvin, that's quite a very long list. You know, I used to make a list of sessions I would love to attend every day, but then maybe if I were to list 5 or 6, I end up managing with just 2 or 3. You know, in fact, getting to 3 sessions is a luxury at that conference. But it's interesting to know that someone managed to, you know, keep up and get a lot out of those sessions. And I also asked our coffee break guest speakers about the sessions that stood out for them at the conference. Let's hear what they had to say.
Italy was the session whereby people within the movement, how they are experiencing regards to this movement, how best they can be able to also coordinate and resolve such issues that they normally do encounter within their community as well. Like, and in case of if there is any harassment and etc., the right people need to go to. Like, so I felt that that particular session was much more insightful to me.
So I love the one we had on the Wiki Women, like inclusivity with women, especially with the case of East Africa, Kenya. I also love the African agenda. African Baraza, yeah, it had a good kickoff and also a great conversation, of which I look forward to the outcomes from those kind of conversations. And also love that I attended the one on AI, which is something that is current and very important for us all. Yeah. So, yeah.
Les questions sont tous intéressantes, mais ce qui me vient à la tête maintenant, c'est peut-être sur l'inclusion des femmes dans dans Wikimedia, oui, oui. Donc, il y a les partages des Wikimédias venant de Kenya. Ils ont parlé de l'inclusion des femmes dans le leadership de leur communauté. Et, ça m'a vraiment touchée puisque à Madagascar, nous sommes les leaders, les organisatrices sont tous des femmes dans toutes les régions. On a 3 régions et ce sont tous des femmes et c'est important pour moi de représenter les femmes dans ce mouvement.
The Africa Agenda, yeah. So with that Africa Agenda project, I was kind of very excited because they are trying to involve the women and also other voices that are not being heard. Because it's time for Africa to rise. Most of our stories are still not being told. Everything is still being hidden. We need a lot of hands. We need a lot of growth within the community. And I believe the policies that are being set for us as a community will be helpful. So I think the Africa Agenda is one of my favorite sessions that I've been so far. Okay. Yeah, I would have to explain the jury situation. It was not planned. It was just Alvin's spirit calling him up and he appeared. I didn't have anything to do with that. It was not planned, I promise you. Thank you so much. Unfortunately, it's not possible to attend all the sessions to get juice from all the sessions you would have loved to have had attended at the conference. But looking at the ones you attended, Caroline, which ones would you be sharing in terms of learning, or which one would you be implementing in your local community from the ones you attended?
I think for me, top on the list will be one of the first really engaging sessions for me from day one, the session on collaboration structures and models for Africa, where we're looking at like like a more interactive and engaging way to how we look at hubs, and how we form them, how we keep them running, how we ensure retention and all of those things. I think that was particularly key for me because I'm also having the responsibility of coordinating a network, a Wikimedia network here in Abuja. So for me, I loved that we were able to have that really engaging session where we were challenged to look at our hubs like houses, like what would you want to have in your house, and we were thinking of things like, oh, how will my space be? Do I want a library for resources and for what? How do we look at resources? There's financial, there's human capital, and all of those things. The people themselves, how do we ensure diversity in the communities we're building? So for me, I love that was such a practical session that I can take back to my community to see how I can also inspire co-ownership in terms of how we are even driving the leadership within the community. So how is everybody feeling like a part of the community and the working of the community? So that's really a session I hope to step down within my community and see how I can share my learnings from the Indaba. The second one is from the session with the girls where I think that was Stella and Joy that did the session on equipping young girls with 21st century digital skills. That was very key for me because I'm so particular about targeting girls young and being able to give them digital skills that help them to, better position themselves in today's economy. So I really loved that they had such a fun learning program that they had piloted in Ghana. And I'm already talking with them about how we can replicate that in Nigeria for girls, young girls, especially vulnerable girls who don't have any form of access to digital skills. How do we use this platform, introducing them to fun things, like how can they play games on WikiData and all of that, to start seeing how we inspire their attraction to the whole technology space in itself. And I think lastly, just so I don't talk too much, will be the session on, there was a session on how the new campaign tools can help our wiki events. It was very hands-on. It's a very well thought out tool that has been developed already to help us, especially those of us as organizers. It's so overwhelming how we have to battle between, you know, mobilizing our members, getting them registered on Google Docs, and then moving things from Google Form to it's been such an overwhelming experience coordinating events. And to think that there's a very well thought out organizer tool that helps us do that work effectively, and you have everything there in your meta, and it's easy for you to keep track. It's something that is hands-on. My co-leaders, we're going to test it out in our network and see how that helps us and improves the way we organize our events moving forward in Abuja. Yeah. Thank you.
Amazing. And I couldn't agree with you more when you talked about stepping down the hub discussion, you know, to have it a very more relatable manner in the whole community. Because to a large extent, I feel the strategic discussions still around hubs, they've been happening a higher level beyond the local context, which actually needs to be stepped down. How about you, Alvin? Which of these learnings are you hoping to implement in the local community?
Firstly, what I learned, especially, actually, me, one of the biggest lessons I learned wasn't even in the sessions. It was with someone I happened to sit with in a bus when we were going to that village in Morocco for the social event. Someone from Ghana, and she was telling me about her community, how her community, like the Wikimedias in Ghana, how they are segmented. They have about 3 language communities, then they have the general language community. I learned that in Uganda, we only have 1 user group, and like we have only 2 languages, English and Uganda, that we are concentrating on, but Uganda is a country with around 30 languages, 40. And I believe these can be added, these can be languages that can be added. So one of the things I want to implement is to broaden our scope, especially in the languages part, because like in Uganda, I come from a part of Uganda which has also like a big language that is like second to Luganda, that is big in Uganda, and I believe that language can also get on Wikipedia, and we make it bigger. Another session that stood out for me also was the growth and editing tool, as I've told you before. When we are making trainings, future trainings in Uganda, I will make sure that all the people that register or who join Wikipedia and start learning how to edit Wikipedia will have that interface or join up, so that they have mentors in Uganda or outside, and then because that interface that is for newcomers can help them, give them suggestions, mentor them through everything they want to understand. So it's one of the things I want to implement in Uganda. Another lesson that I learned in Wiki Indaba was that most of the people I met and I interacted with, most of the people that I met and interacted with in Wiki Indaba were part of many communities. For example, you find someone is in Wikimedia Nigeria, part of the technical community, part of Open User Word, and which is not like the case. I don't know any Wikimedia in Uganda who is part of many communities. And I believe when I was interacting with them, especially on issues concerning how to apply for scholarships, how come some countries I see here have many people, how does it come about? And through these interactions, I learned that if you have some expertise and you can employ it in 1 or 2, 3 communities, it's very okay and it's practical. Then one of the sessions that also stood out for me was the Wiki Wake Up Africa, where I interacted with the person who held the session afterwards. He's from the French community, but when he was telling me about what they do, it was a very beautiful idea that they wake up other communities which are not yet in Africa. And I told him I'll get back to him and see how to join such a community. It's a beautiful community that wakes up other people, which is a very good thing. But those are some of the things. I'm getting people like in Uganda who are part of our community. Our community is big. It has very active people, some people in tech and what, and these are things I'm interested in them in. And I believe by the next Wiki Indaba, we shall be a better community. Thank you.
That's great, Alvin. And it's not surprising that one Wikimedian could belong to various groups, and it's for obvious reasons. For some of us, it's to make sure that we can garner capacity from anywhere possible. Because sometimes, if you are attached to a particular group, what if you're interested in what the other groups are offering? What if you are willing to learn a skill or two while participating in other groups? So verily, feel free to engage as many groups you have interest in, and you feel you can impact in positively as possible. And then we always want to prioritize diversity and inclusion, however, in maybe all of our livings as a movement, maybe media space. Alvin, you've experienced both the virtual Wiki Indaba, and by virtue of going to Morocco, you also experienced the in-person Wiki Indaba conference. What can you say about the quality of both types of delivery?
Okay, thank you. Of course, the in-person Wiki Indaba is better. It's far better. You get to interact with people one-on-one and understand them even beyond the sessions. You can meet someone, you interact with him, or you keep on tabs with him, and he teaches you something new, or you get exposed to a different community. In-person is better, but of course it's limiting. To talk about the virtual Wiki Indaba, its positives was that it could reach a lot of people. A lot of people were able to attend that Wiki Indaba that Uganda hosted in 2021. Many people were able to attend, and I think I don't remember very well the streaming app we used, but people didn't complain a lot about the video quality, about the sound, about the one. The only issue with this Wiki Indaba that we've had in Morocco is that for the people who attended virtually, they got some problems, especially with the video quality. Because like in Uganda, we gave some people like data support to attend online, and they would be texting us mid-sessions and saying, this session, we are not looking at it very well, it's not displaying so well. So I believe like in the next Wiki Indabas, we can marry these two and make them both quality, or we can get a better streaming app to use like on a Wiki Indaba, and maybe also like in sessions, we plan like earlier, so that every session has a camera, a quality camera and better lighting, so that even in, like I was looking at Wikimedia Morocco YouTube page where they are uploading the videos of the sessions that happen during Wiki Indaba. And the recorded sessions, of course, as you can see them, they are not to the best quality. I believe if the breakout sessions have like a quality camera and lighting, and they can be recorded, they can be useful to future Wikimedians who watch them afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you, Alvin. I think I remember the platform that was used during the Wiki Indaba that was hosted by, I think it was Jitsu. and a lot of people complained about that. And those of us who had to maybe tune in to listen to sessions or maybe join as guest speakers at the past WikiIndaba also don't have very good testimonies about their remote experience. But then again, these are things that we definitely should work towards improving. Of course, some conferences could go better, maybe for better reach and all that, but if it's not quality in terms of people's virtual experience, streaming and all that, then the aim for making it better could easily be defeated. Thank you for highlighting those important notes, Alvin. And then in our context, Caroline, there could always be room for improvement. The 2024 Wiki Indaba will take place in Johannesburg, South Africa. Looking at the whole setting or the whole experience for 2023 in the conference, if you were to make recommendations to the future organizers, Caroline, what would these recommendations be?
Thank you so much, Ceslos. Again, I feel like some part of this was also raised during the Wiki Indaba, especially during the Africa Baraza, which was really, I would say, a very deep moment for some really hard conversations for us across the continent. I think it was great that we were able to at least highlight some of those things. Top on the list will be that at this stage of the Indaba, I mean, we're talking about this is the how many edition now, we should be able to say that at least there are some things that are like standards in terms of the expectations, the kind of venue that will be used for the conference, the kind of transportation and logistics and all of that participants should be using, and accommodation and all of those things. Like there should be some like agreed level of standards that every organizing team should be aspiring to meet, so that at least we're sure that we're working towards establishing that standard over the years. And in terms of organizing in itself, I'm so happy I didn't get to speak. I think Alvin was very generous in in his recommendations around the streaming and the video quality. In my other life, I'm a filmmaker, so you can imagine how sensitive I am about quick picture quality, sound quality, and all of that. There are definitely a lot of high expectations in terms of what we should be putting out at this point. I know that takes a lot, but I'm thinking maybe we need to be a bit more deliberate in terms of how we strategically resourcing, mobilizing resources to be able to at least, be able to tick those boxes in terms of the level of expectation if people are to join such conference from different parts of the world. I know that we're all talking about Wikimania. I mean, there are some people I saw at Wiki Indaba that I first saw, running a session at Wiki Indaba, and I was able to tell them, oh, you were the one that facilitated this session. Those are things that are all thanks to you are able to see people clearly and really follow the session and make out who they are, and even look forward to meeting them in person. So it's really about how can we translate this to the Africa experience for others as well. It's not going to be practical, whether we like it or not. It's not going to be practical to take everybody to these conferences. But then we want to be able to ensure that those who are joining virtually are getting the best experience possible as well. So, for example, even if I'm not able to join live, how quickly can I, access that session, knowing that the conference is happening? There will be that kind of expectation from people who are not there physically present. So we really need to be able to meet a lot of these expectations. And yeah, pretty much those are top on the list in terms of being able to, I would say, standardize, this conference to give everybody the best experience possible, both those attending physically and those attending virtually.
Interesting. Of course, it's a work in progress, and maybe with time we can
Sure.
look at all the standards and be able to check them off our list. How about you, Alvin? What recommendations would you give to future organizers?
My recommendations, not only to or to the Wiki Indaba organizers, but the whole Wiki Africa, that we should look for a way of increasing scholarships. Personally, I believe that that hole we are in, I thought we could feel it, but okay, there is always a better atmosphere with better numbers. And I don't know how that can be. I don't know if there is a cap to the finances, but I believe to give many people an opportunity to be there and experience it, but also the contributions, the collaborations. I believe if it can be done, let the scholarships be increased. Then also, I believe that the future organizers of Wiki Indaba, like next year in South Africa, should be able to work on the process very quickly and announce the scholarship recipients like months before, at least 4 months, 5 months before, 4 months, because like you realize, like some people, it was hard to track, to get visas because of the limited time. For example, there is this one participant who was like in Eastern DRC, and the time to go to Kinshasa is especially like crossing 3 countries. Let's imagine someone someone doesn't know anyone in Kinshasa. Where will he be for the 10 days while they are considering their visa, then the coming back journey? So I believe if more time is given, and maybe also the next recommendation I would make is the facilitation around the visa process. It's something that should be considered not lightly. It's not that every participant is able to raise the biggest amount. Like yes, like in this Wiki Indaba, it's supposed to be reimbursed, but not entirely. Like not like the entire budget, like someone has to spend. Now I imagine for other wiki conferences, for example, like Wikimania, if it's to go to, let's say, a country like America, which has many countries don't have embassies of the US. Okay, let's consider even Poland. I think in East Africa, we don't have an embassy of Poland anywhere. So tracking such a process needs more funds, and it's something that can be looked on. Then for specifically the organizers, there are some sessions that are so important, very important, that I believe they shouldn't be given that less time, because ideally, I think the biggest session took like an hour or 45 minutes at Wiki Indaba. Others that I felt were so important, like how to become a Wikimedia admin, took only like around 30 minutes or 15 minutes. So I believe even the timing of such sessions that are so important should be like in the mornings or given better priority. I also believe that some sessions, all the sessions shouldn't come from the suggestions that people have made. I believe that like the community, like the Wiki Africa community or Wikimedia Foundation can package sessions, even if they are not suggested, and package them, headhunt for people who can facilitate them, because they are so important. I believe that should be a recommendation. Let me see another one. Then also like the people who are supposed to attend the like Wiki Indaba should be briefed about the country, even given more details. For example, in the hotel rooms we slept in Uganda, we have another socket, like it has 3 holes. Like many of us couldn't charge our gadgets because the gadgets we use are not like the ones like in the European community in Morocco. That was a new socket to me. So like those small details should be emphasized next time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alvin. That's quite an exhaustive list of recommendations, and I actually love the fact that you took note of these things. Of course, there were you know challenges that may be unraveled as we got to the conference. So perhaps that would be more difficult to have been covered by the organizing team. But nonetheless, I'm sure that all these will be taken into consideration by the next organizers. And then our coffee break guests also had some recommendations for the future organizers. Nani?
Some of us, even though during filling the form, we are being asked of our diet issues and stuff, and some of us will say we take everything. But when we come to the ground, there are certain food most of us can't be able to eat this kind of food. So at least, if there could be some form of diversity within the food, to get it because Wikimedia or the Wiki family is all about diversity. And when you come around, we also bring stuff like sweets and stuff to share. Yeah, so when we are also at an event space in Daba, Wikimania, we also need to think about others because we need to think about the health because when we are in an event, we are under we are not on our own accord or we are not alone. We are under either the foundation or the organizers who are organizing the event. Even though we are here, but we are under somebody who is guiding us. Yeah, so I believe that if they are able to do something about the food, try and get food that like maybe if there's some form of African food, you can also have that. If there is how do you call it, East African food, you can also have that because if you are focusing on your own country food can be there because you are promoting your country, but just to help others to also eat. Because maybe sometimes someone might be leaving the conference, he or she might not like kind of feel healthy enough or feel nutritious enough because he or she hasn't been able to eat enough because of the food that was provided. So at least if there could be some kind of food diversity, I think it would be helpful for members or community members who
Je
attend.
pense que je remercie l'équipe, premièrement, d'avoir organisé cet événement qui est plein qui est vraiment instructif et intéressant, surtout pour nous qui sommes nouveaux dans ce monde de Wikipédia. Comme recommandation, je pense que je recommande d'offrir l'opportunité pour beaucoup plus de participants venant de tous les pays d'Afrique.
Donc, augmenter le goût.
Oui, augmenter le goût, mais également de créer des sessions pour soutenir les débutants comme moi. Oui, faire plus de sessions comme ça. Donc, c'est tout.
Sometimes during the break sessions, right, within the lunch period to move on to the other sessions, there should be like a longer period enough for people to transition from the lunch period into the other sessions that continues. So like for instance, yesterday like this, due to the lunch break, most of the sessions that continued after the lunch break had to be moved backwards to 30 minutes later, right? So I feel that aspect can also be included.
Volunteers, I know I received the form, but I didn't hear anything. So maybe next time we get to know about the volunteers. So, yeah, and I think it's okay. Yeah. I'm okay with everything aside that. Yeah.
Yes, those were the other recommendations as given by the other attendees. I had to snatch from their lunch, from their coffee breaks, to share some important recommendations with us. And thank you so much, Caroline.
Seaman, and Alvin for your responses to the questions we've asked so far, sharing your 2023 Wiki Indaba experience with us. Maybe someone would have a question or two in the comments and in the Q&A session for any of you. Oh yeah, there is a community question. So if you were to give tips to an intending first time, let's say in-person Wiki Indaba attendee, what would these tips be? Perhaps we can start with you, Caroline.
I think one of my biggest tips would be to say, really come expectant. I was speaking with a fellow first timer and I was curious what her experience was like as well. And she was, and I got a sense from her sharing that she didn't even look at the program before coming. There's definitely a limitation to the kind of expectation that person will have coming to the conference. I would say top on the list, get to know about the conference, get to know the program, have some expectations of your own in terms of what you want to take out of it. Have a specific goal, like who do you really have to meet, or what do you really want to come back with from such a conference. That would be my first tip. Another tip would be to say, look, enjoy the experience. Sometimes we also get so uptight, we don't enjoy the experience. Enjoy the experience. There's nothing, like there are no words to explain how memorable that physical experience is, connecting with people that you've only probably just seen virtually. So enjoy the experience. Don't get too overwhelmed with the program. Like try to find the balance of getting the most of the program and also just enjoying the experience, which is key. So I love that some people were deliberate to take some extra days and have a lovely experience of Morocco. Those are smart things to do that you can also like make the best of the experience. So you're not just in for the conference and out right after the conference. Like what else can you do? Agadir turned out to be like a fantastic scenery, such a beautiful place to visit and just learn about their culture, experience the food, which was really rough for many of us. But at least some of us were comforted to at least get some KFC and eat some chicken at some point. So really just make the best of the experience, make connections. These connections help you moving forward. We are all in a digital world where we can do so much online, but when you get to have these in-person experiences, make them count so that you can also strengthen that whole digital experience. Yeah, pretty much I would say those are two key tips I would leave with first-time attendees.
Nice. I am guilty of staying back in Morocco, but just make sure you can afford it because that's for you.
Yeah, that's why you need to plan. You need to plan for it.
How about you, Alvin? If you were to give tips to first-time
me, I will start with an intending person, someone intending to come to Wiki Indaba in the first place. I told you I joined Wikimedia Community User Group Uganda in 2019, but I had been making applications every year, and I wasn't successful. This was the first successful one. But the only difference I did this time when I was applying is that I was very detailed. Like every question that was in that form, I gave it time. I sat down. I said, for this application, let me give it time and detail. I made sure that I answer every question to the detail, and I think that worked out for me. So any person intending to apply for future conferences, Wikipedia conferences, be detailed, don't pass through the questions in a hurry, and give it your time, because it's important. It's a worthwhile experience to move out and meet other Wikipedians. But also, as she has said, one of the recommendations of the first attendees, like when you're at a conference, is that you should find a balance or make a program prior. Because personally, when I had looked through the program, but I had not made my priority. So I found myself running to this session, then checking, this session is going on, running to another one, and I found that after the 3 days I had attended fully and I didn't get time to move around like during day in Agadir. I only moved that to the sea like in the evenings. And I realized if I had prioritized like some of the sessions I only wanted to attend and maybe give myself time to also experience, it would have been better. But also, the first time attendee should make sure that he makes a lot of connections, make a lot of friends, try to interact with different people and find out their perspectives, what's happening in their communities. It can be a good experience, and I believe me myself, I got a lot from this experience of Wiki Indaba, and I learned a lot. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alvin. Thank you. Yes, if you don't narrow down the list of the programs you want to attend, you find yourself, trying to split your body, mind, and soul to be present in all the groups, which is not possible, unfortunately. So yes, thank you for getting that. And like Caroline said, find time to also relax, see the location. It could be in between the conference sessions, maybe during one of the breaks where we don't do anything. Find time, of course, enjoy the walks at the bay. And it was great seeing some people taking afternoons in the pool. The results, it was really fun. Seeing people trying to unwind like that. So thank you for those interesting tips that you've shared. And first of all, I would love to thank the Media Maok and say kudos to them for pulling off the 2023 Wiki Indaba conference. The Wiki Indaba conference is our only Africa-themed conference, the Wikimedia movement. And as such, we would use our collective efforts to be curated. Wiki Indaba is a work in progress, like we've all seen over time, as it has indeed experienced various dynamics since its first edition in 2014, from theme selections, scholarships, session proposals, venues, and local organizing teams, among many other things. As the Wiki Indaba marks its 10th year of existence next year in Johannesburg, South Africa, we hope to see the reflection of all the recommendations from the just concluded 2023 edition, and of course from all the previous editions too, towards having a great 10th year Wiki Indaba anniversary experience. On behalf of the Wiki in Africa team, I say thank you, Carolyn Seaman and Alvin Ategyeka, for finding time in your very busy schedule to honor our invitation to share your conference experience with our audience. And I also thank our audience for showing up. With that, I say have a good weekend and see you around.
Thank you, Ceslas, for organizing this. Thank you very much.
And thank you for having us.
Pleasure is ours, always.
This episode of Wiki Africa Hour was hosted by Ceslas Obanaya. Let us know what topics you want to discuss and join us next month on the same channels. Subscribe to the Wiki in Africa YouTube channel and follow